Well, good evening and welcome to this Monday, April 12th edition of Referee Corner here on IronStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Basin, and I'm joined, I must say, I'm delighted to be joined by FIFA officials Damian Parchment and Nicholas Anderson. We are expecting others to join us, but gentlemen, first of all, thank you very much for taking this opportunity to enlighten not only Bermuda officials, but officials around the Caribbean on your journeys, your challenges, and obviously your accomplishments, because as a referee, we all know the game can't go on without officials. And having officials from our region do the highest level of games, World Cup, Olympics, Olympic qualifiers, and the like, you guys have been to these things. So we just want to kind of pick your brain on your journey and how some people's journeys have been similar starting out, but then they just have to be patient. First, Damian, let's start with you. How long have you been officiating, and what got you started into officiating?
Okay, I have been officiating for the last 10 years, 10 years to be exact. So, from I was very young, leaving high school, I have this passion for refereeing, but I did not get the opportunity to actually get involved in refereeing until after I finished my bachelor degrees in college. So that's when I all get started in officiating, and I could go on and on with this journey. It has been it has
That's what
been
I want to hear. I want to, we have people around the Caribbean that would be in your position that you were in 10 years ago, going through it now and struggling with, should I continue? What should I do? But hearing someone else's story who's been through those, faced those challenges, been through that journey, I think it's good that we get the opportunity to kind of hear, what you've got to say. So
sure. So I remember everything clearly as if it was today. So my good friend Nicholas Anderson here, we are from the same parish. We work in the same parish, and I was fortunate enough when I just started my referee career to have him in my corner, because he's a senior. He's more senior than I do. He was on the Premier League panel before me, and he was there to guide me along the way. And I remember he told me this many years ago. Parchment, the mistake that I made during my Premier League career, I won't allow you to make the same mistake, because I am here to guide you and ensure that you do the correct things, and this will help you to reach further and much faster. So as I said, I started out in college. After leaving college, I came and joined the Chilana referees group, and I was there officiating like Division One football, Major League, Super League, right? And like within 2 years, I actually get the opportunity to join our Premier League panel, and there I spent 3 years before I was nominated to get my FIFA badge. So the journey to get my FIFA badge, it wasn't a smooth one. We have a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of challenges. We have to put in a lot of work, whether it's in sunshine, whether it was rain, right? We have to do all of those work. We have proper guidance with Dave Meikle, who is the director for CONCACAF, for CFU, sorry. And we also have Rowan Tarbren, who is our local fitness instructor, Victor Stewart, who is also our head of refereeing, Peter Prendergast. All those persons play a very important role in my development as a young referee growing up.
Well, I want to say, first of all, good evening to Stephanie Dale, as well as our head of refereeing here in Bermuda, Mr. Cranston Williams. But we'll get to you two in just a second. But Nicholas, can you give us your start to this journey?
Well, I started officiating when in Trelawney, the president at the time was Lionel McLean. He introduced me to refereeing. Actually, I was playing football, riding bicycle in my boots, and he saw me one morning and said, listen, footballers don't do that to their football boots, So I don't think you are suited for playing the football thing. I think you should be a referee, because then the bicycle never had any brake. So to stop, you have to put that boots to the ground, so you rub down the cleats and all of that. So he was saying, you are no footballer. So try refereeing, and Then he introduced me to Texas Nemard, who then introduced me to I think it was a training session I had in Westmoreland, where I was introduced to Dave Meikle, Victor Stewart, and Rowan Tauburn. And I still remember at that time, even just the other day, I was saying it to Victor and Mr. Meikle at that time, you said that because of my age and the way I looked in training, put in the hard work, and there's a possibility that you could make it to like 5 World Cups. So the work still continues here because if you have the ability and the age, you just have to put in the hard work and really, really trust the process. I've had 2 World Cups so far. So it's just to trust the process and put in the hard work. The hard work still continues. Behind the scene, as Parchment said, there's no excuse for not training. Rain, sunshine, you have to put in the training. If it's raining, you do the core work or you go to the gym. And if it's sunshine, then you go running. There is the classroom sessions also, and your video test, you go through all of that. So there's always room for improvement. You keep improving and keep training.
Yeah. Well, I want to say good evening to Stephanie. Stephanie, welcome to this program. And as I said to Daniel and Nicholas, we want to get to know your journey, because others in the Caribbean, as well as Bermuda, will probably feel as if they kind of relate to what at least one of you are going through on their journey, and have the aspirations of going further than just locally officiating. So can you give us how you got started?
Hi, good evening. I don't know if there is much noise in my background. Firstly, thanks for having me. My journey. I don't know if you would say it's an interesting one, but like Nicholas, I was playing football, and my cousin, who is also a FIFA referee, invited me to come to referee training. I wasn't interested at first, of course, because I was always against referees as a player. But I decided to give it a chance. You know, my way of giving back to the sport, because I was actually going to stop playing football and just start life. And he said, "Do you want to still be involved in football?" And I said, "All right, let me try it out, just to keep up my fitness and everything." And then, like, it just took off from there. But in that process, my cousin introduced me to Mark Sullivan, who is our local instructor in St. Catherine, who then introduced me to Mr. Dave Meikle, who is now the head of refereeing for the Caribbean through CONCACAF, and his team of Ron Thorburn and Mr. Stewart, who is now the head of refereeing for Jamaica. As I think Nicholas Sandanian said, all of those fine individuals have played an integral part in our role right now as, I guess you would say, top FIFA referees for Jamaica, representing the Caribbean, representing CONCACAF, even at the FIFA level. We couldn't have done it without their guidance, of course, because, you know, every day we're learning. The laws of the game is changing every day. So we really appreciate how important they've been to us, the time they take to teach us everything that we know, and the guidance. So it hasn't been an easy journey. You will cry, you will have very good times. Trust me. Yeah, man. A lot of those. But at the end of the day, you will reap the rewards, and you will find that it's worth it, or the tears were worth it, the hard training, you know, fear of failure. It was all worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Williams, first of all, I want to thank you very much for arranging this type of talk for not only for me, but for our local officials, and again, those ones around the Caribbean who will get the opportunity to actually hear a story from someone that they're trying to aspire to be like. When you look at how your journey has been, Mr. Williams, in getting to meet some of these people, working hard to get your people to a similar level, how has that journey? What does that journey look like for you? Unmute. There you go.
For me, it was, I guess, I didn't aspire to do anything to do with refereeing. I'll be very honest. I got asked to go in the BFA one day playing football up at Fort Royal Primary School with a group of my friends. Andrew Griffith was the treasurer at the time, and Calvin Blankendale was the first vice president. They said that the BFA needed some good people. So, as a joke, I went to the club. Somebody signed me up, got to the AGM. Ray James stood up and said, all right, Cranston Williams, Troy Lewis, you're the two nominated. The former Barclays are good people. And next thing I know, I was on the executive. So Larry Musson was the president. And I contacted Larry. I said, okay, what committee you put me on? He said, I haven't decided. And he said, refereeing. I went, what? He said, yeah, refereeing. I said, I don't know anything about refereeing. What you mean? He says, yeah, well, you're refereeing. So, Mr. Grimes and Linden, I met them. They have to go to the BFA office, look over the schedule, Mr. Grimes. I was just going through the motions. I'll be very honest. So I'm a school teacher, so for me, it was just something you do. I was still actively involved in playing football, so it was just something to do. Then when Mr. Grimes decided he's going to step down, and I kept hearing Larry say, when we go to the Congress meetings, he doesn't have anyone on the FIFA list. So Anthony Francis and when we came, went to Barbados for a workshop, and that's when they came back and told me about infamous Mr. Peter Pendergrass. So being I have Jamaican heritage, I reached out to Mr. Pendergrass. I said, listen, I need to organize a rap course. He said, no, you have to go through your general secretary, go part of red tape. If you know me well enough, red tape and me we don't get along. So I contacted Pendergrass direct, reached all the protocols. I said, listen, this is what I need. So Pendergrass said, all right, you have to do this, this, and this. The course happened. That's where I first met Dave and Rohan. Right, they came first. Of course, Bermuda at that time, we didn't have anything in place for refereeing. It was just like a schedule came out, you showed up to the game, and that's what was happening. So I was like, this can't work for me because, if anything, the players need the people that were fit and training, we need to have the same thing. So it kept going and kept going and kept going. And then I went to have a refereeing workshop. The presidency changed. Mark Wade became president. He started demanding what he wanted, which, went from being someone on the list to a team. And then as different people started coming, I got to know different instructors. And then Tashawn got on the list. Tashawn from under 15s, they got on the list. I met Brian Hole, Alan Brown Morgan, different people. And then I got to know, from traveling with the national team, I got to meet different referees. So from there, it was just like I realized, a refereeing can do a lot. But what I realized here in Bermuda, there's a culture, or, that refereeing wasn't something that anybody wanted to do. So I realized we had to tell our story. So from there, like I said, because I'm a school teacher, and when you teach, you have to plan long term. So I started putting things in place with my committee, and that's when all of this kind of came about. I remember when I approached you about doing the show, was like, nobody's never done this. Let's see what could happen. And then now it's, progressed to where I can send a WhatsApp to Pachi or Nicholas and Stephanie and say, yo, Stephanie, here's a flyer. I need you on the show on Monday. And they all say, sure, no problem. It's just building relationships. And I must say, these three on the call, I'm proud of them because I keep saying to them, I want to see more people that look like me doing those big games for CFU and CONCACAF, even World Cup tournaments. I was very proud when I realized that Stephanie had gone to the World Cup and actually watched her game and they made history. Same thing with Pachi and Nicholas. I was excited when I saw, Club World Championship. I saw Nicholas' name. I was talking to Pachi when he was in Mexico. I said, Brethren, you got to be doing the final. And to sit up and know that somebody been to Bermuda and, you talk to and, you build a relationship with, see them live on TV. I'm saying to myself, well, I've had them on Excellence in Action. So my official could now say, I know that guy. I want to be like him. So that's the whole process of this good. And I just hope that this just grows from strength to strength.
Yeah. Daniel, let me ask you, when you got started, how much drive and push was given to the referees or officials in your circle? Just gotta unmute.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Earl. Yeah. There was a lot of drive and push from my circle. As I said, we have people in our midst such as Dave. Dave is a person who is always there for you. He's always a phone call away. So if there's a moment you're feeling down or you need some encouragement, you can always pick up the phone and call Dave. He have very good relationship with all the referees in Jamaica, right? Rowan is also the next person. He's always a close friend. He's always there for us to drive us whenever we go to training, and we think as if we want to stop and we can't go no more. Rowan will be like that slave driver. No, my friend, you have to keep going. You're not finished as yet, right? And as I said, we also have Stewie, Victor Stewart, who's always there playing his role. But Dave and Rowan are always very close, and those are the person who are the driving force in my referee career going forward.
I've seen them both in action, Rohan and
Definitely.
I've seen them in action.
Definitely.
You're not telling me nothing I don't know.
Yes.
Nicholas,
So
let me get
they
a sense of when you get or when your first World Cup, when you get the notice that you're going, much like players, it must be a nervous time for you. What went through your mind in the lead up to your first match?
Okay, well, being selected for the Under-17 World Cup in Brazil, Parchment was there with me when I received the email, and we spoke about it, and we started training right away. He really pushed me to the limits on all of that. So being at the World Cup in Brazil, of course, working with Mario Escobar from Guatemala, it was a nerve. Yeah, you got that nervous feeling, yes, but then you tell yourself you are prepared for this mentally and physically, and in every game, most games, yeah, I'll have that nervous feeling, right? But getting out there on the field and you check your line and you get in your comfort zone, once that whistle blows, then it is where you are used to. This is what you do day in, day out. You stick with that second to last opponent and you are focused into the game. So you forgot about the stands, the spectators, all the nervousness went, right? And then you just focus on the game and you get into the game, you get to enjoy the game, you get to be a part of the game. It really helps being a part of the game. You're enjoying yourself and you're working hard. It really makes for excellent performance when you approach it that way.
Stephanie, for you, not many females want to take up back in the day, not many females wanted to take up the challenge of officiating. How did you find it, and did you start off with men's games and then converting to some women's games?
Okay. Well, all right, let me tell you a little story, because Cranston said something and it brought back a memory I had when I just started officiating. Very young, doing like under 13s and under 15s. And I think there was a CONCACAF championship women's game going on, or a tournament going on, and I was watching it on cable. And like I saw some of the girls officiating, and I was there like, but I can do what they're doing, you know? And I was like, I would like one day I'll get to be there, because I wasn't even thinking about CONCACAF level or FIFA level, World Cup and whatever. I'm just like, I'm looking at these girls on TV and I want to do what they're doing. So that was a good memory a while ago when Cranston reminded me of that. But I did start with youth tournaments, boys, because we don't have a lot of women tournaments here. But we started with youth tournaments, community level, men's games, before I guess I elevated and started doing top men's game here. But we have we have like under 19 women and I guess our top women's competition here. They try to get us involved in it, even though it's not much of a challenge. They try to get us involved because we are the women, and you don't want men doing women's games when you have women here. So not so much women's games. Yes, we do them, but not so much. They try to get us sharper by doing the men's games.
What is the tempo like in the men's games in there?
The tempo?
Yeah, how do you find the tempo of the games?
I'm going to be honest, I find it exciting because Like I remember sometimes in my younger days when I was running, like I used to challenge the boys. Like as fast as they're going, I want to go as fast as them. Sometimes I'm not even watching the ball. I was just running as fast as them because I'm like, I'm going to beat you to the end of the line, you know? So I found it quite exciting.
Okay, all right. Now, Cranston, you took this this challenge by the now president of the Bermuda Football Association, Mr. Mark Reed, and you kind of run with it. And the number of youth referees we have now is triple what it used to be with ease. But why was it significant for you to make sure that we had these youth referees that now see some of them actually enter into the first division and premier as officials?
For me, Earl, like I said, I'm an educator and I believe in advocating for the youth. And as you know, here in Bermuda, you've had a lot of antisocial behavior and different things. So I figured if I can inspire them or encourage them, I should say, to come be officials, something that they get paid for. It's a job, responsibility, because they have to be there. Um, pre-COVID, it was half an hour. Now it's an hour before. They have a match report they have to fill out. They have to wear their uniform, tuck in properly. They have to identify themselves to the match commissioner, the compliance officer. So for me, it was a situation of, I guess, trying to bridge the gap. Because when I look at what happened between, I think the last person on the list was Lyndon Rayner, to 14 years later comes up to Sean Simon. So in order for the program to continue, you have to have succession plan is what I call it. And I don't think that was, if it was evident before, it wasn't pushed. So now my committee, that's something that we do on a regular. And it's funny how it started where we had maybe 10, and even in terms of the females, at one point in there, one female official, my first female official was Tasnay, who plays for the national squad. Then behind Tasnay, I reached out to Sharice Bean as head of women's for the BFA. And then I got a group of young ladies who came on from the under 15 team. And they're still core part of our youth referees. They've now transitioned to do senior games, but also still play for the national squad. So the reason behind it, in my view, was just to ensure that we have people coming through. Right now, I have two youngsters who, if I convince them to stop playing football, I know for a fact will go on to be on the FIFA list. One of them, Mr. Jonah Trott. Jonah's 15 years old, and it was a game out at BAA, and it was under 17 match. And the person that was supposed to do the game, sometimes they couldn't make it. So there was a gentleman on the sidelines trying to officiate the game, and I got a phone call, and I said, no, that cannot happen. Don't worry about playing the game. And Jonah heard it was me on the phone and said, Mr. Williams, I'm been to the training, I know I can do this game. I said, are you sure? You're 15. These guys are older than you. Yes, Mr. Williams, I'm sure. And I live, you know where I live, and I left my house to go out there at halftime. And I stood on the side across by Butterfield and Vaz, and I watched it. 15 years old, had complete control of the game, and it was a premiership match immediately after. When he was finished, just about everybody in the stadium congratulated him. So for me, it was those type of things that encourage me to keep going. And sometimes not easy. I do feel like throwing my hands up. These guys will tell you. I said them enough times. I'm tired. I'm done. But they encourage me just as well. And it's unfortunate right now. COVID has kind of slowed things down, but it has to keep going. And that's the reason for even having shows like this to so the youngsters hopefully will watch it and get encouragement from these guys. And Stephanie, thank you very much because you encourage Natasha Trott, who's going to follow your footsteps and go to a World Cup.
Well, let me ask you, Denian, when you look at guys that, or even females that are coming into the officiating side of it and the green, what are some of the things you tell them to expect if they want to make a career out of it?
We know that football football is here to stay, and we know that females are a part of men's games. So we're not looking at it as if they are women, but we are seeing them as officials. So we just want to continue to encourage them to do well, to stay focused, to keep training and even train harder, because when you're doing men games, it's more difficult than doing women's game, even at the international level. Stephanie can give a test to that because she would have done men games internationally before. So you know that the drive is for you to stay concentrated. Just keep pushing yourself every day in training, and always ready to go whenever you get that call. You're always excited and you're going to have some fun. Enjoy the game, because if you are doing a game and you're not enjoying it, it doesn't make any sense. So the most important thing, when you get that game, go out there, execute, and enjoy every single moment of it. So that is my few words to the ladies.
Oh, good. What about you, Nicholas? What advice would you give someone who's just starting out, but is unsure where they want to go with it?
I think they should just trust the process, trust the instructors that they have, because they would have been there and done it and now move on to being instructor. And when I started out, I was in the middle. I didn't do so well with the middle. Then I was given the flag and I was excellent with the flag, right? So Parchment is an excellent central referee. I'm not. I'm excellent with my flag. The instructors made that decision because you wouldn't you would know. Just to
Right.
trust the process and just trust the instructors and put in the work and you'll be successful.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, you can't get no better advice than that. Stephanie, what has been the best advice you've had thus far in your career?
Best advice. I
Best
think I've had
advice
a
given to you.
so one that I carried with me even to my first World Cup. I think Victor Stewart was the first person to say it, like at an MA course in front of the whole group. He said, "Your attitude determines your altitude," and that
Oh,
stuck with me. Right, that stuck with me throughout my World Cup journey until I think it was the 2019 World Cup where uh, I wouldn't say I was in the presence of Carrie Sykes, who is the head of women referee program for FIFA, and she always has some motivational or inspirational quotes that she wants us to use as guidance. So it keeps us going, because it's a very long journey, especially like to the World Cup. It's a 3-year process, and sometimes you have injuries or you get uh, pregnant or you get deterred. Like things just happen within that 3 years leading up to the World Cup. So one of the things that she had as a quote was reach higher. So like no matter what, just always aim to reach higher. So those little quotes, I carry them with me as encouragement to keep going. Like there is something at the end of it all, even though it may be hard right now, there's something that you're reaching higher for.
mm, well, good. Denny, and let me go back to you because what if you can name a game that once it was done and you got back to the change room, you sat down and you said, "I think I've done a rather good job," but then your assessor said you missed this, this, and this. What game stands out for you?
Uh I am trying to remember. Let me see. Okay, I remember 2 years ago I did the finals of the CONCACAF League game. So I in the very first 30 seconds of the game, I actually missed a clear yellow card. So I thought that I could have used my personality and my management skill to manage that situation because it was so early in the game, right? So after I got off the field, I know that I did very well during the game. It was a challenging game. The game was being played in Costa Rica, right? The fans was really great that night. It was cold, I know, and it was my second CONCACAF finals because a couple months before that, Nicholas and I did the under 17 final in Bradenton with USA Mexico. So being in Saprissa to do Saprissa and Montagua from Honduras was also another big step in my referee career. So after the game, we sat and we met with the assessor, and then the very first thing she said to me, "You missed a clear yellow card. You did such well." But that that really stand out, and I could actually beat myself because during the game, I know for sure that it was early, which I could have shown the yellow card, which is still a part of management. But I rather I went and used personality skills to manage that situation, and at the end of the day, it could have cost me maybe a point one of a mark when my assessor was doing the report. So it's something that as referee you should not take anything for granted. If something is clear and it is in black and white, then we should act accordingly and deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things where you're challenged with all the time, because if someone else sees it, but if you have someone in your way, you know what I mean? Well, it's all about communication, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, Earl.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
So as I always said to my colleague Nicholas here, so my motto going into a game is always teamwork, management, and good communication. And once we can effectively carry out those tasks, at the end of the day, we should have an excellent game. So that I always take that with me in every single game that I do.
Mm. Nicholas, the fact that you've done World Cups and the like and CONCACAF finals, language barrier. How do you manage that especially when you're dealing with people that speak a different language? Are you versatile or?
Our Spanish for the game. I know Parchment and I we do lots of game. Our Spanish for the game is excellent. For
Okay,
the game, we have excellent Spanish for the game. Those words that you need to execute on the game, we have those. It's the
right.
conversational Spanish that we need to master. And even right now, as we speak, CONCACAF has given us the opportunity to improve that with Rosetta Stone program, so Spanish. So we are now learning Spanish. Yes, most of our Spanish referees they speak English. So now we need to learn Spanish as Caribbean officials, right? So any Caribbean official right now having the ability and have any aspiration to go forward, you're gonna need a second language.
Right,
Spanish
right,
preferably because you go to the tournaments and after that first round finish, 90% of the teams that will remain are the Spanish teams.
right,
Right. So
right.
you're going to need a second language. Spanish would be the best one. For the
I'm one of
game, as we
those.
say, okay.
Yeah, I'm always asking about that because I know there's always that challenge, and it's, if a team knows that you don't understand the language, they can go into a different a different conversation than you
One thing
stand
that
there.
one thing with most teams, Parchment will tell you also, with most teams, if we turn up with the Spanish teams and we start speaking Spanish, they start speaking English.
Ah,
They- Most of these guys, they speak English. You say
right.
one or two words to them in Spanish, they will answer in English. And that will be the communication for the night. English.
Ah,
So most of these guys speak English.
right, right. Yeah, Stephanie, take us through your first, because everyone remembers their first international tournament. Can you take us through that first tournament you ever done?
Ah, I will try to remember most of it. My first international tournament. Okay, I don't know where to start. I'll start with the CONCACAF one. The first international CONCACAF tournament or FIFA tournament?
Anyone, your first international one, whichever came first.
Okay, my first international CONCACAF tournament was in 2015, in Honduras, the women's under 20. Um, First time meeting girls outside of the Caribbean who spoke a different language, meeting teams outside of the Caribbean, because as I tell you, the football in the Caribbean is not as high or challenging as outside of the Caribbean in CONCACAF or internationally. So I don't remember the first game I did, but like the girls were really running for sure. It caught me by surprise. But like before I left, the instructors just told me like run fast, always keep up with the play, try to be in line, make all the correct decisions. And after I did that first game, I didn't get any more games for a while. And to be honest, being young and not knowing anything about the scene, I was there wondering, like, how come I'm not getting any more games? Did I do something wrong? You know? But funny enough, I think I did the final of that tournament. With Jillian Martindale from Barbados. I think that was my first final actually, or semi-final that tournament. And I was surprised. I was surprised at that because being young, nobody knows me. But like, and that's the first place I met Carrie Sites as well. And like everything that she had to teach, I just absorbed. Like if they say in training, like you need to do this, or this is what they want from you, like I just try to quickly adjust and start doing it. Like I just sucked up everything and learned as much as I could. So that was my first tournament. Very good experience.
Right. Daniel, how do you prepare for, or how did you prepare for the Olympic qualifiers that just recently finished? How did you get yourself ready for that? Because everybody's been fighting this pandemic. You're restricted to what you can do, but obviously you have to find a way because just like the players, you have to be ready.
Earl, for us, there's no first and foremost there's no football playing in our country for the last 14 months. So we have had little or no practice with teams playing in our country. So the only time we get the opportunity to officiate a game is when CONCACAF call upon us, or FIFA sent us appointment to go outside of the country. So Nicholas, as I said, we are from the same parish. He's like my training partner. We train every single day together. So we will go to training sometime in the morning, sometime in the hot sun, the 12 noon to do training, sometimes in the evening. So we try to rotate the training time to prepare for the altitude in Mexico, so to speak. People will see us training many times and ask us if we are crazy or if we are madmen running up and down around the field and there's no football playing. But we have to keep motivated. We have to keep ourselves sharp. As I said, luckily for Nicholas and I, Ron Tarburn were like 30 minutes drive away from us. So he was like the go-to guy. We could pick up the phone and call him and say, TB, are you available to come and give us a training session maybe 2 or 3 days of the week? And he will actually make himself available to us, and that was a good thing. And not only we have the CONCACAF platform of excellence that goes on every 2 weeks where we would do video clips. We also have Mr. Meeko CFU meeting where we have video testing just the same. And also, in our country, the Jamaica Football Federation, with the head of refereeing, Victor Stewart, would also do a weekly video test with us. So that helped to keep us sharp, helped to keep us ready. It was not easy going into Mexico. The altitude was really high for the first couple of days. We have to try our very best to adjust. I remember after I did about 3 to 4 sprint, I feel as if my my heart was coming outside of my chest, and I was saying to Nicholas, "Are you feeling the same? Where I'm the only one who is dead, dying?" So so it was a challenge, and it really took us quite a few days to actually adjust to the altitude. It was really difficult, but God has been good, and we have stayed motivated, and we try our best to go there every single day to ensure that we practice excellence on the field. So whenever we goes onto the pitch to actually officiate a game, that's what we take along with us, sir.
And Nicholas, what is it like to walk around the streets as a referee? You're one of the most identifiable persons in your town, around the town, and all of that. And if things don't go the way that those fans want them to go, what is it like for you in that environment?
A very difficult one, I must say. But truth be told, because everyone knows my father. Before I became a referee, everyone knew my dad. And then now with the refereeing, everyone know lots of persons will talk to me. They would say hi, they would say congratulations. So yes, I'm well known, yes, but the thing is, it's the respect. The respect that put in the work, and I've earned that respect on the field So therefore, off the field, it's a great feeling off the field. People will talk to you, even if they are not pleased with your decision. They will talk to you with that level of respect. With at first, starting out at first, you wouldn't get that. So I guess the work that I put in, they see you on TV. They have been seeing you on TV now. Many nights, partment that I would do the National Premier League when games are going on in Jamaica, and not only that, but I'm with teams. I remember doing in 2017. My first FIFA appointment was the World Cup qualifier between Mexico and Trinidad in Mexico, and getting back from Mexico the Friday, and it was like a big thing. So they watched the games. So when they see you on the TV, they see you all over doing these games. You earn that level of respect from them. So even if they're not happy with the decision, that level of respect is there, that they will approach you differently. Yeah.
Quincy, let me quickly jump to you because people had the opportunity to see Tashawn of late on television. So similar to what Nicholas was just talking about, it was one of those things where people were really excited to see someone from their country, officiating a World Cup qualifier.
Yeah, actually, this is, I would say, the third time I think Deshaun's been on TV. The first time was when we went to Jamaica, actually. He refereed with Odette and Cardell. One was in Tivoli Gardens and one was in Onyx Gardens. Then he did the USA Venezuela friendly, and then these last two, and there's in Curacao. I think the one where he did with USA Venezuela, that was the one I think was the highlight when he had like 30,000 people in the stadium. And just about everybody in Bermuda was like, the WhatsApp chats were going around. Is that Tashawn? Yes. And, everybody just stopped what they're doing to watch. From that standpoint, that's very rewarding because it encourages somebody else, probably like another Nicholas who, really shouldn't be playing football, hopefully take up the whistle or the flag. So, yeah, from that standpoint, it is very rewarding, and hopefully we can get more people to follow him.
Definitely. Stephanie, what do you find most challenging for you in preparation for any international competition?
Most challenging?
Yeah.
Everything. Fitness, because here in Jamaica, well, I guess internationally as well, fitness is your passport. So you have to be physically prepared more than anything else. You have to meet the demands of the game and even more. Something Brian Hall preaches for CONCACAF, we have to show excellence in everything that we do. So not only physical preparation, but mental, psychological, everything. We have to know the laws of the game. We have to, can't say it on the air, have to cover our butts. Knowledge of the laws of the game is very important.
Yes.
And how we apply it on the field of play. And most importantly, getting the decision right on the field of play. So like without all of those activities that are prepared for us to like staying in line or seeing if the player is slightly offside or if they're behind the play, for referees, whether there was point of contact, if there was what was the mode of contact, if there was an arm in the face or anything, all those little things, they help with our preparation so we can make the correct decision at the end of the day.
Okay, nice. And Daniel, with the ever-changing laws, how do you ensure that you are comfortable in understanding how to administer those laws when it applies?
Earl, it's always very important for us as referees to keep abreast of the amendments to the laws of the game. So, for example, every time when you have a big tournament such as a Gold Cup or you have a youth competition, the instructors, the assessors, they will go through these amendments just to ensure that you feel comfortable with the amendments to the game. And whenever you go there on the pitch, you do not make those errors, because as a referee, we should not err as it relates to the laws of the game. It's something that is, as Stephanie said, we should always have very good knowledge. We should be always abreast, and it should not catch us by surprise. So we have to be ready to make the correct decision, despite the public may not be aware of those changes. But we always have to be ready to apply it when necessary. Right. So we also use what we call the spirit of the game as well. So sometimes the laws of the game said, okay, this is yellow, but with the spirit of the game, the player's already on a yellow card. He showed little or no dissent, and this is something that we have to use the spirit of the game, use our personality to manage this player and get into that player head to let him know that, hey, we want to keep you on the pitch, but if you don't want to stay, then we will not accept that behavior from you. So it is something that we have to be always keep in mind.
Yeah. Nicholas, there's always this comparison with the English FA, well, with English referees and mainly European referees. They talk a lot. Do you find you talk a lot to players, explaining your decisions, or are you one of those, let's get on with it, I've blown the whistle, let's move on?
In CONCACAF, where we are from, those won't work at times. As Parchment, you see Parchment in his games. After he makes this decision, it's the next phase of play.
Right.
There are times when you have to really stop the game and slow it down and have a word with that player. Yes, that eye-to-eye contact, but it's not always good to explain the decision to these players. In English, these are mostly professional players playing for a club, and they are making their big money. They respect to a different level. Most of our clubs, most of our leagues in CONCACAF or Caribbean, wouldn't say probably semi-professional, semi-pro. Right. We are at, yeah. So even in our region, most of the games, after certain tackles, you will have players running in and all of that. So it's a different type of football that is played in CONCACAF, which requires a different approach. We have been going through those training sessions with the free zone, CONCACAFism 1.1, yeah, and the latest version of CONCACAFism. There are guidelines to how to officiate. Our instructors, Brian Hall, Mr. Prendergast, all the senior instructors would have seen what worked and what won't work. And so that lengthy discussion, it won't work at times. Most times it won't work in our games.
Right. Yeah. When you're on the line and everything, and you work closely with Daniel, when things happen close to you, are you one to step in to break up players, or do you allow the referee to come over and do that duty? What type of person are you regarding that?
Once a player is close enough, you'll say something to these players so they know that you are right there. And should anything happen, if I'm close enough, yes, I'll be there first, and he'll join me after also, or he'll take the first bite of the cherry, then I'll join him. Depends on how the situation. Most times Damon and I will play the good cop, bad cop. It works. Or the father to son approach, the brother to brother approach. It works with the players, Most time players will come to Damien to complain that or they will come to me, and and we'll work it out, right? Probably they not realize that we have the earpiece, so we are both hearing whatever they are saying. Even on the road at times when we are stopped by the police, and probably his turn to talk to them. Probably at yeah. The good cop, bad cop works in the game also. Yeah.
Stephanie, how important is it, especially at the international level, to have a relationship with the people you're working with? I know there are times where you end up going to a tournament and you'll be working with somebody for the first time, but how important is it for you guys to talk to each other, get to know each other, to be able to work together? Did she go up? All right, partner, why don't you answer that for me? I know you have a team of people, but when you're getting to know someone and you're getting to a tournament and someone's assigned to you first time up, how important is it to kind of work things out as quickly as possible?
It's very, very important, Earl, to get to know your colleague, to get to know your teammate, to know how they officiate. And so you will have to have discussion with this person. So for every game that you are doing, Earl, we'll have what we have a team meeting. So we have a team meeting discussion. So the referee will outline to his assistant referee and also his fourth official, this is what he expects during the course of the game. And his AR, I will then give my assistant referee opportunity to speak, so they can then explain to me how they operate, and they will do just the same. And my fourth will chip in and has their say as well. So it's important to have good communication, Earl, and to have effective teamwork out there. So without that, your game can become a disaster if we don't work things out, because you don't want to be out there on the pitch. The referee call a penalty, and when you look, the assistant referee is holding up his flag. I have a foul out here, and that is a big controversy, and that will make the news. So we have to be careful, because at the end of the day, we have to work as one team. So we have to have that discussion to get to know each other and be ready for when that opportunity come to go there and execute to the best of our abilities.
All right. Well, Nicholas, who's got training tomorrow? Who's leading training tomorrow?
For tomorrow, what? So for today we had a good run partner and I we trained this morning. So for tomorrow we have explosive and strength work. For tomorrow evening, probably we'll turn up. I'll take out the cones and we'll set up. Probably he'll join me, or then he'll add some more to it. Yeah, but we'll work it out together.
So tomorrow you're the good cop, is the bad cop?
No, the good guy. No, for training, we are both good guys. For training, we are both good guys. We push each other to the limit. So for tomorrow, explosive, I'll make sure he's chasing me for explosive. Yeah, but for endurance, I'll try to catch him. Yeah.
You was gonna say something, Daniel?
I was just going to say we play big brothers while we are in training. No bad
Oh,
cops or
okay,
good cops.
okay.
Yeah. We are just big brothers at that time.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I was asking you about working together and how important is it to build that relationship when you go on international duty and you're doing it with someone for the first time. How do you manage that?
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay.
I
It's
had
okay.
my
It's all right.
Well, in CONCACAF, of course, we have 3 different regions and they're very diverse because, like Nicholas has another referee that he goes to the World Cup with. I too have another referee. She's from Canada and she speaks French, but she also speaks English. So I just try to be open-minded, try to be flexible, and in refereeing, I think you just have to take it day by day, be open to learning new cultures and accepting people as they are, because the way they do things is different from how we do things. But as long as you're open to learning, you can adjust easily. And I don't think I find that problem with most of the referees that I work with, because everybody tries to work well with everyone. Because at the end of the day, it's not about us, the individual, it's about the players and the game. So, like, we just try to be comfortable and make each other comfortable. Find the easiest words to communicate, and to use teamwork. What makes us flexible, or makes everything go smoothly, I should say.
Okay. Well, Mr. Williams, again, I want to thank you very much, because I'm sitting here smiling that I'm surrounded by these FIFA officials who can inspire some of our officials. As you can see, they're relaxed. They go through the same things that our officials go through. It's just that extra commitment needed to get them over the finish line.
Well, Earl, for me, like I said, when the pandemic hit, actually, Stephanie was supposed to come, was it last year? I think we even had the referee symposium. She was supposed to be one of the invited guests. Yeah, that's when COVID hit, so she was unable to come. So Stephanie, you still have your ticket and your work permit, just to let you know. So, she was supposed to come, Party was supposed to come, and Nicholas, they were supposed to come do some games for us. But, COVID decided, sorry, that's not going to happen. So throughout the course of all the pandemic, I maintained communication with all of them. And with the refereeing excellence, like I said, excellence in action, sorry, they've all agreed to come on and assist with the up and coming referees. So the one thing I must say, because of that, I decided, you know what? Let's highlight these guys, because as much as how, You see, I saw anything was the Observer, a picture of Nicholas on the front when he went to the Club World Championship in Qatar, but I didn't really see much of it anywhere else. Arch is doing the, Olympic final. I didn't see much of that anywhere else. I'm watching where Stephanie made history in Jamaica, for CFU was on the CONCACAF website, from Jamaica, her and Princess. And I'm saying, well, I know, had that been Ron Hurt, I'd have been kicking on somebody who's doing the BFA saying, no, what have I got ignored? So for me, it's about celebrating and promoting refereeing in CFU. Because like Nicholas just said, once you get past certain runs, all you're hearing is a different caliber of people speaking. So the only way to kind of change that narrative is if we can highlight and show that they are working hard. So I just want to say, guys, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And Earl, Mason sends his apologies. He was trying to get in, but he said to be a guest next week.
Not a problem, not a problem. And folks, I do want to thank you very much. And hopefully sometime soon we can have you on again to talk more about officiating in our region and in your country. So thank you very much. Enjoy your night.
Thank you, Earl. Thank you, Earl,
Okay, thank you
for
very much,
having
Earl.
us.
All righty.
Yeah.
Yep.